Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Arm Wrestling Tonight. This is Hollywood Matt Connelly with the double biceps. It is in the contract and legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. We are appearing on camera right this minute. The man to my left, to your right, depending on what side of the screen you are looking at, it is the co-host, the co-founder, the co-breather of air, the co-wearer of clothes in this very room. It is none other than the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Cristo. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is the Siberian bull. It is your friend and mine. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, the illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. It is none other than Dave Stockbridge.
No, all of that is true. Hollywood Matt Connelly, it's wonderful to be back here on Arm Wrestling Tonight with you. And of course, tonight we have ourselves a very, very special guest. He is the AWE heavyweight champion on the left arm, looking to add 2 more belts to his name this June 22nd. Here in Adelaide, he will be performing in front of 1,000 raving combat sports fans here in Adelaide at the Hello Turf. The man on screen, ladies and gentlemen, is Brett Coutts. Brett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Brett, 2 more belts, so that's 2 over the shoulders, 1 around the waist. Is that how you're seeing it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You'd be perfectly balanced then, because you were saying you felt a little bit off kilter at the moment because you've only got 1.
Yeah.
But if you get the 2, then you'd be perfect. But then the supporting structure around the waist as well.
Yeah, it would be very nice.
We would be able to look at you, be too blinding, be like, no.
Now, never in the history of AWE have we had somebody compete for 2 belts on the one night. A huge undertaking. Now, for those people that are about to jump in the comments or might be watching right now and think, how is he going to do it? How is Brett Coutts going to do it? One, we don't really know. We don't really know how he's going to do it. It is an extraordinary feat to be performing against 2 of Oceania's top arm wrestling athletes in Mateo Rungi, the Beasthead of Morris, and Lachlan Adair. So we don't really know how you're going to do it, but there will be a 1.5 hour gap between these 2 epic matchups, at which time there is some time to recover. But Brett, when you're performing against men like this, I mean, 1.5 hours just doesn't seem like a lot of time.
Yeah. It's a different arm. I've been doing a lot of volume. I'll recover quickly. It'll be fine.
Wow. Okay. I was giving it like a little bit of room there for an excuse. If you did happen to have one, like, oh yeah, you're right, gone. Dave. Yeah, I don't know, but no excuses coming into this. Very confident. I've been privy to some of the back chat, some of the conversations between the athletes, and of all of the athletes that of all 3 of you, you do very much seem the most confident in your ability to take this out. Now, you're the current AWE left-hand title holder. You've been, well, it's fair to say you're ranked squarely number 2 the last 2 occasions on right hand. And here you are performing this superhuman epic performance here, where you've got 2 massive matchups. How do you prepare for a night like that?
I've been doing a lot of volume, a lot of short breaks, a lot of volume, prepping for those 1-minute breaks, 3 or 4 rounds, whatever it needs to be. I feel like I'm ready. I've done a lot of work.
Mateo Rungi has jumped in the comments here. He says he cannot wait.
And the big man was exuding quite confidence himself last night.
He was.
He's not the most boastful, but he's also said words that, very similar to yourself, just off camera, that this has been maybe the best preparation he's ever had for a matchup. Brett, you were mentioning very much the same thing. This feels like your best prep. You feel like you're in your best form ever. You're destroying everybody on the training table, and no aches, no pains coming into this. Very, very well prepared. What's been different about this preparation compared to previous events?
It just flowed on straight from Rickard into the next prep. I had a couple of weeks with a bit of soreness I had to deal with. But straight from that back, straight into full training, and it just hasn't stopped. So, and after Rickard, I did change things up a little bit. I learnt, the young man taught me a few things. I need a few more angles. I need more hand control. So I've just been crushing that.
But you weren't happy with your matchup with Beckett.
No, he clearly had me covered in a few areas, so I had to work way harder than I should have. So I've just been working on those, fixing everything I can.
It was an absolute war between you two, and it was. The result was one-sided, but the match was just an absolute war every single round. One of the things we were talking about last night was your endurance factor, and that you were deliberately making Rickard come to the table faster than he probably wanted to, even though you were in sort of
I was in pain.
fatigue as well. Yeah,
but I didn't want him to recover. That was a hard match. Simply because I couldn't control the hand, so I couldn't access. He had me in the hand, so slowed me right down.
Yeah, what an absolute war that was. And it was the press really that got you through every round, because it seemed like both of you kind of extended to this point until you were able to come up and get on top of it with the press.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was ever really on the losing side except at the start. And then, I had no other option. It was desperation.
Well, it came through for you, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we were seeing that the tactics of the match play out, and your 17 years. So is it 17 years you've been in the sport now?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, of experience coming into play there, and recognizing those moments as to when you can come up and attack was masterful to see.
Masterful or desperation? It was wait until I had a gap, an opening, and then go for it. I'm not sure it was planned timing. It was wait until there was enough gas and then go for it.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, we talked about that maybe being a potential factor against with your matchup with Mata Warengi. Obviously, the man, telling us he's coming in 175 kilos, which is insane. It's 10 kilos heavier than we've ever heard him being. That sort of level of size and power, it does come at a cost of cardio, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and benching 250, in a prep. I hope it doesn't come down to endurance. But if he's winning, we're going to go there.
Right, yeah.
So it is part of my game plan. It's not the first part, but that's plan 2.
Yeah, and this is after you're going up against Lachlan Adair for the left-handed belt. I mean, this what a night it's going to be for you. You're either going to be going into it thinking I've just won a belt, or I've just had a crazy match with Lachlan, and now you've got to get your headspace right for your next matchup.
Yeah, I don't know. The Lachlan match could go either way. We just don't know where he's at. So, if he's where he was last time we gripped up, it's not a good day for him. If he's improved, we'll see what happens. That was a while back.
Do you stylistically distinguish between your right and the left? Are there nuances between the two arms, or do you feel like you pull pretty similarly both sides?
Similar. They've both got things they do better. My left presses better. My right maybe pronates a little bit better. But I think the match with Lachlan is going to be a proper arm wrestling match. It's going to be, I hope it goes hook on hook in the beginning and we just see who's stronger. After round 1, and whoever wins in a hook, we'll see who's running.
I love that. Yeah, it's so good when guys just agree to start in a hook, and it's like, let's just put the pedal to the metal and see who's got the strength here.
Now I'm interested stylistically with your opponents. How do you view Lachlan? I would put you in the category of more of a defensive puller off the line, where you kind of wait and see where your opponent might want to take it, and then you'll work your way back in. So almost like you're willing to give away a little bit on center, hold, and then slowly rope your opponent in and get yourself into that winning position. How do you see your opponents with respect to their styles, and how do you play into that?
I don't think I can do that with Lachlan. If he gets too much pronation, I think he'll win. So I'm not a big hitter off the start, but I've got to block that. So winning the pronation off the start with whoever wins the pronation out of Lachlan and I'd say we'll win.
And how do you prepare for that? Knowing that you would typically kind of wait and see, and then and look to work your way into a hook, which invariably ends up in a press. Here, is it a matter of, are you training more specifically on getting a stronger start? Are you training some of those fast twitch muscle fibers? What does your training look like when you're preparing for somebody of Lachlan's style?
The training's very similar. It's just the approach to the start. So how I block, whether I hit. But it's been training a lot of pronation and a couple of things that you might see on the night.
Ooh. Ooh, a little surprise for everybody there.
Yeah, Ricard's opened a couple of new doors for me, I think.
Okay. And when you say that, like, what are those doors? Are you willing to divulge a little bit here on the podcast tonight?
A little bit. Well, he's so strong going sideways. I've been working a lot on similar movements and found access to new angles and new power. So I'm not 100% game to use them off the line, but they will come into it.
This is what we were talking about last night. We did a show. It was just Dave and I, and we were talking about this matchup. And I did like to highlight that the way that you approach your matches, you really seem like you've studied the opponents. You've come up with a very good game plan and strategy going in, and you've trained those techniques that you feel will be optimal to take down this particular opponent, which is, it's very. I don't say it's rare, but it is one of those qualities that can really separate a champion from a not, somebody who just goes, oh, I don't care what they're going to do. I'm just going to do my thing. And it's like, do you even know what I don't know what they do. I'm just doing my thing. Whereas you could say, look, I know he's susceptible to this, and that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to win the match. He's going to be asking questions afterwards. That's what I like about super matches. You can prepare if you go into a tournament, you just need to be well-rounded and fast. In a super match, you can prep properly for what you know will win.
And you're 47 or 48 years of age now?
47, turned 48 this year.
48 this year.
Yeah.
Did you? So and from our previous discussions, you feel like you're in peak form. This is the best version of Brett Coutts the world has ever seen.
This is the strongest I've been. I just need to do a lot more physio, a lot more stretching, a lot more not pec tearing. Hopefully we've seen the last of that. I had physio today, got smashed, scraped, and now at the physio, some work on the pecs, getting them all ready.
Fantastic. So I guess all things being considered, was there a point, maybe say 5 or 10 years ago, where you thought, okay, I'm peaking out now. I can't see myself getting any stronger, but you've just broken through that. And do you still feel like your best days are ahead of you?
100%.
Right.
No, people talk about overtraining and training too much. It's bullshit. It's the more I train, sometimes I get a little bit fatigued, but I train every day now.
Wow. Right.
Every day. And you're not always the strongest on the weekend because you've trained too hard during the week. But as soon as you take a rest, it just piles up.
And so is this training on the table, training in the gym, or both? No?
Table I'd be lucky to do once a week. Okay. Now I'm not doing any more at the moment. It's just all on the table, but cables, weights, go away.
Like, let's ring Brett while he's on the show.
Good timing. Now I've got a cable cage at home, the table in front of it, and just I find doing the movements on the table with the cables, like if I do them just at the gym, it doesn't cross over perfectly, but doing it on the table here with the cable cage, yeah, it works really well.
And so in terms of table time, you minimize that?
Yeah.
So that's an arm wrestling emergency going on right there on Brett's phone right now.
It's probably Andy Voskowski going, ha.
No, I said I'm doing a podcast from 8, so he's missing now. Yeah, it's all right.
So
we had a couple of questions from the chat, just quickly, if I can sneak them in, Dave, if that's all right. Mike Ford has asked, he says, Brett, any chance you'll be back in Malaysia? I would love to pull. If not, I would love to head down to Australia. Best of luck, though, with your 2 matches. Monster!
It definitely, I was meant to be in Sabah last New Year's, but just things happened with work. I couldn't get there, but definitely heading back to Sabah soon.
Oh, fantastic. And
That's where it all began.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it it was a $10,000 or something?
No, I was at their Harvest Festival, and I jumped in and beat the guy who won it. And then the next year I went back for 20 grand for the national champion. But I could have lost 20 grand at the same time.
Oh, right. Oh, it was your money you had to put on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Nutty Salt has also asked a question. He says, Brett, is there still talks with you and Fatali having a match later this year?
I haven't heard anything about it recently.
There you go.
So there's a lot on the table with this, then over the top. I don't know. People are changing.
It's a big year. Rickard Bornman has jumped in. He says, hey, gents, best of luck. Uncle Brett, much respect.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. Levan Saganashvili's liver says, Brett will beat Mate with a press. You heard it here.
Bold prediction.
Maybe. Not round one.
Oh, well, he's a big man. That's a hard ass to get through that frame.
Yeah. And so now we're back onto the big man. Now we've spoken about Lachlan and what you might do there in order to overcome perhaps his stronger start and what you'd be looking to mitigate that in order to keep your hand. When it comes to Mate Arangi, where do you see that match going? It does seem you're both quite defensive as pullers. You both tend to pull back, wait on right, see what the next move of your opponent is. Mate Arangi seems to be very comfortable just applying that back pressure, using his immense mass and just using that to his advantage. When he's able to lock in and hold that, it's very, very difficult to move. You have a very similar style there as well, where you'll try to more work your way into a hook, whereas he'll try to peel back a little bit more. Where do you see your opportunities when pulling Mate Arangi?
I see round one going to exactly the same as it did with Todd Hutchins, that open top roll kind of position, and battling from there. It's going to be interesting. We'll see who wins round one if we both get to that position. I'm pretty confident that if it goes there, I'm pretty confident I'll win.
It does seem to be stylistically there's some similarities between yourself and Todd in that you both tend to pull very horizontal to the table. You tend to keep a very low trajectory rather than coming up high. Of course, Mate Arangi tends to be a natural top roller, likes to peel backwards and use his weight to his advantage there. And if he can hold his wrist closer to his shoulder, he's got every chance. And you can see here he did a little and seemingly put himself into a stronger position. But much like Todd, you'll tend to work increasingly lower and lower to the table, and as we see there, that's the shape that seemingly proves to be a pathway. Is that how you see yourself shaping up on this one?
Yeah, well, Matt's one of those guys where I am blocking, I am defensive. I've just got if I get stuck under his top roll, he'll flash spin me. Yeah. So I'm just avoiding that. And I think if the match stops, I'm in it.
Mm-hmm. And what have you spent a lot of time watching back through these older matches to see where there might be some chinks in the armor?
I watch all Matt's matches, so yeah, I don't need to look back through too many.
And so if we were watching you on the training on the training cables at home there, are there different movements that you're applying left or right? Or are you pretty much fundamentally doing the same things either side? Are you training asymmetrically?
No, I do exactly the same movements both ends. Just one moves better in one move, the other moves better the other way.
Right. Gotcha.
This match, I know that this match, I love watching this. This is just an absolute incredible. And for anyone who thinks that they're out of it, that they're about to lose, and that there's no hope, and there's no way out of the position you're in. If you have a look at the way Brett gets out of these spots,
I don't quit.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is it? We're gonna find this one round where you've pretty much lost everything. Your wrist is completely flopped back, and you're about this far away from getting pinned, and you still won the round. I don't know if it's this one. Let's have a look. So you've thrown sideways hard to get it back to the center. He's rolling through your hand with his low hand top roll, but you've cupped it back. You lost your hand again. He's on top of you there. Look at this, how close that was. And you've gone, nah, screw this. I'm not quitting. I'm going to get my shoulder behind it no matter what. Wow. What a match.
How soul destroying for your opponent when in that position you're able to come back.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, you just genuinely do not give up, do you, Brett?
No, I won't. I just won't. I'll battle until I lose. I'll keep battling, but I still consider that half a loss because I still lost my hand. You know, I'm still battling back from a position I shouldn't be in. I mean, it's hard to keep your hand against Bowen, but.
It's hard, and in part because I mean it's not so obvious here on screen, but Bowen's like 6'5", 6'6". He's a mega tall young man, and he when you've got levers like that, you've got that potential to come really right over the top of your opponent's hand, and so that's just something very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, but he's only going to get a little bit stronger, and if I let that happen, he'll win. So.
Yeah, but still, I mean, just that match. I love to watch this back. It's just so exciting. You know, you think that of all comebacks, that there's no way anyone can get out of that spot. You showed that you did it not only once, but you did it multiple times throughout the match. Incredible job. Yeah, and then would someone get you one question?
It's Timu. Timu won't stop messaging me now. You buy one thing and that's it.
They get you with those 70-cent specials.
Yeah.
So this is the matchup here with Rickard. So you can see you're waiting at the table here. This is about halfway into the match, and you're putting this pressure on Rickard to come back because you don't want him to recover. You wanted to keep that pressure on. This may be a tactic you might be looking at employing, but it is a veteran move. And for people that are watching that are into arm wrestling and have an upcoming super match, this is one of the things that you can do that's not on the table, but it can also affect the result of the match.
Yeah, and was this something that you'd given a lot of thought to coming into this matchup? I mean, ordinarily it's the older opponent, the one that's carrying the more muscle mass. That would be the one that's seeking that little bit more rest time. But in this case, it was the younger opponent that was doing absolutely everything he could in order to not engage. It was Rickard's a formidable young man, and I believe he's now weighing close to 130 kilograms.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete, but in terms of sheer mass on a structure, there are a few individuals, full stop, that would carry the same that muscle mass on the skeletal system as you do. But you were the one that was really pushing the pace of this match. Was that a strategy coming into it, or did you pick a weak point in Rickard at some point that you just felt, okay, this is a button I can press. I'm gonna force the pace of this one and see if he can keep up.
I could see he was burnt, so I was trying to take every advantage that I could. But I do a lot of training with 1 minute breaks, purposely for super matches. You've got 1 minute break, let's go again.
Yeah.
So especially for now, everything's been like 10 sets, 1 minute breaks. Let's go.
Wow. Okay. So you're training specific for the time as well. And of course, in AWE, we do hear some athletes really training in the setup. And I believe Mario Tembakis and Lachlan Carpenter spend a lot of time in that position so that they're not fatigued when setting up in those formats that do permit that. But in AWE, you don't really have to prepare for that because, there's not so much mucking around. It really is that the rounds and the pace of the match that is something you've got to better prepare for.
Yeah, so my hand was gone straight away, but the rest of me was fine. So,
it's such a critical element, isn't it? The hand when it's like everything else can move, but your hand's just staying there, and it's like this sort of thing. Your hand stays where it is, and that's why it's so important to be able to get that positioning. But you can see here, both of you really fighting it out in the center with a lot of back pressure, and it was that press that made the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first to four, how do you see the scoreline between yourself and both of your opponents come the 22nd of June?
So we're doing first to four both round, both.
Well, I think we are. I think
Yep, cool.
that's the AWE rules. We are just waiting on final confirmation for the windows. It might be first to three, but
First to four championship match. Come on.
I'm fine with that.
first to 10.
I'm not coming. First to 10, forget it.
Yeah,
Without-
20. Sorry, you go, bro.
Without being too cocky, I can't see me losing around.
Wow.
No.
Wow. To either guy?
To either guy.
Whoa.
I could lose around to Matt early on if I make a mistake. But once I get the strap, I can't see me losing around.
Wow. There
you go. There you go. Anybody looking to put money on it now knows exactly what to do, ladies and gentlemen. So maybe we'll just return to the comments before we say goodnight.
Absolutely. Let me just move this off the screen here so we get back to us. And yeah, we had Mike with his comment earlier, and then Mato Warengi has jumped in. Obviously, he says he can't wait, which we can't wait either. It's not far away. It's 11 days from now. Here in Adelaide, and June 22nd as part of Diamondback Fighting Championship. We had a couple of people jump in from Facebook. We had Shashi, and I'm not going to try that one, but he says hello as well.
Mort Kalim.
Yes, we had Nutty Salt with his question. Rickard has jumped in as well. Levan Saganashvili's liver, and James Lordanidis.
Yeah.
He says that Brett Coutts is a legend.
He's the new guy training with us.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. There you go. Well, one of the things that people wouldn't be aware of is when you were here for our most recent event and you won the match against Rickard, we had a tournament straight after that, and it was a Titans tournament. One of the guys that was competing in the tournament was 18 years old, Danny.
He's a beast.
And he is ridiculous, freak strong. And he won the heavyweight division, and this was his very third time ever arm wrestling. But you were coaching him through the tournament, and I thought that was such a great moment to see, and he would have loved that so much. Imagine, because your match had already happened. He'd already seen you win the title. It's the champion, and the champion's now in your corner, giving you advice.
He's a good kid.
Absolutely. I think it was a very, very good thing that you did. And it was you were excited. I could see you were excited for him.
I couldn't believe how strong he was.
It's ridiculous. It's a bright future for that young man. And yeah, that's one of the things that I really love about this sport is that just everyone is very, very supportive of each other. And you see that even though we want to compete against each other, we want to beat each other, we want to win, but everyone wants everyone else to improve and get better. And at the same time, which that was a perfect example of that for me.
Yeah, it was a wonderful moment, Brett. It talks to not just you as a man, but as a champion as well. And it's just wonderful to have you as part of the AWE family. And we cannot wait for this very, very special event. It will be the very first time that a champion is taken on to other champions of the sport. And this is for the AWE Intercontinental title. This is a title previously held by Mate Arangi previously when he I believe he initially secured that belt against Ryan Bowen, then lost the belt to Todd Hutchings, and now seeks to reclaim that belt once again. And of course, the lineal Oceanic champion on left arm. You're of course the AWE heavyweight left-hand champion, and Lachlan Adair holding that lineal belt high at the moment, and it's not been on the line for a long time. So this is one of those titles that comes up once in a blue moon, and Lachlan Adair has said the time is right. We're going to see whether or not I am the true champion, or whether Brett is going to be hoisting that belt high come the 22nd of June. So very, very exciting. You could be a triple champ in just a matter of 11 days' time.
I will be.
And we can all see it live and in person. All you need to do is go to diamondbackfc.com. You can buy tickets if you want to be there in person simply by heading over to diamondbackfc.com. If you want to buy the pay-per-view, you can watch the pay-per-view, which will feature both the matches that we are talking about. You can watch it live. It's $49.95 Australian dollars. You will also get about 5 hours of combat sports action, which will involve K1, Muay Thai in the cage, of course, MMA, combat BJJ, and arm wrestling. That is where it'll be. It is at the Adelaide Oval. It is the 22nd of June. But for arm wrestling fans that just want to see the AWE action, then we will have something very, very special for you. We will be premiering these two matches on the Wednesday after the event, and we will have that all posted on our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this match as though, or both of these matches as though they were live, then you can do so Wednesday after the event, along with some of the behind the scenes footage so that you can feel like you were there yourself. So Hollywood Matt Connelly, any final thoughts before we head away?
I think you've covered it all there. It's going to be absolutely stellar. We've got two enormous matches between three of the biggest men in this region, and we may see somebody walking away with 3 AWE championship belts.
Very, very good. Well, thank you to everybody in the comments. Thank you to everybody who watches. Thank you to all of the supporters of arm wrestling and AWE. But most importantly, thank you very much to our guest, the AWE left-hand champion, Brett Coutts.
Thanks,
very
boys.
much. And
Thanks,
we wish
mate.
you all the very best with your final days of preparation and the lead up to the 22nd of June. We can't wait to see it.
Thanks. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
All right.